Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. New York was the poster child for urban flight in the pandemic, but now the state is reopened for business and people are looking back into getting back to the Big Apple. And Yahoo Finance's Shauna Smith has been covering New York's comeback from Times Square for us today, all day, and joins us again with another special guest. Shauna?
Hey there, Zach. So we are talking about the reopening that's underway in New York City, and there's no better sector to check in on this than real estate. And when you take a look at the numbers recently, you can see that residents are coming back into the city and coming back quickly. June marked the 5th month in a row that we saw signed contracts in excess of $1 billion. So I want to bring in Dottie Herman. She's the CEO of Douglas Elliman to help us better understand what's going on right now in the industry. And Dottie, I guess when you take a look at the trends that are underway right now, how far have we come from just a few months ago?
Oh, no one expected we'd be this far so quick. However, anyone that follows me knows I've always said, never give up on New York, never bet against it. You're going to lose. New York is a resilient, and everyone is so excited when we first opened up because I think we had it like the toughest year. Everyone was out, happy, laughing. The restaurants are full. You have to make reservations to get in. Most of the stores are open. And although we're not fully there yet, we are so far ahead of the curve that it's unbelievable. But that's New York City for you. I think about 200,000 people moved out of New York, renters, and 100 and something came back already. And I was in Palm Beach over the January when we were on complete lockdown. Everyone was like, well, what should we do? They stayed for a while and then they said, hey, we want to get back to New York City. There's no place like here.
We certainly have seen more and more residents coming back. A lot of that has to do with the fact that businesses are bringing their workers back to the office. I guess, to what extent does this change some of the dynamics at play in the housing market here in the city?
Well, obviously you have a lot more, because prices are down in the city, you have a lot of younger people who were priced out completely and so had to move outside, having an opportunity to come back. And then you have people who need more space, like families. They're moving more to the east side with bigger apartments. But what I think you're going to see different, that I think is a good thing, I think prior to the pandemic, it was like, hey, you're rich or you don't have it or you can't live here or live with 20 people in the same room. You're seeing young people. I think it's going to be a little bit more vibrant, young, and it starts to be a little edgy again. When I was young, it was really edgy. And so I think you're going to see a young, new, even better New York City.
And Dottie, I was going through some of the numbers that your team sent over. In June 2021, I'm just going to read some of these. 52% jump in signed contracts, 20% increase in sales volume. If you're looking to buy right now, have you missed the deal or is there still time?
Still time. I mean, we're still down about 10, 15%, but it's rising quickly. And those who are really smart, and I always say, look at the smart people bought right in the beginning when nobody was buying. This is an opportunity for New York City to get into of a lifetime. You just have to believe in it enough to know that it's going to come back. And when it comes back fully, you won't be able to touch it again.
How long do you think it will take to get back to those pre-pandemic levels?
I think we've got a good year and a half. I mean, look, we have a mayor's race. I think that the city, we need to make sure that's safe, and I think that's people's big concern now. It's not COVID anymore, thank goodness. But at the end of the day, there's no other place like New York City. And if you look at businesses that are coming in and companies that never were in New York City, they are finding an opportunity to buy in at a great price. But I think it'll take a year and a half, 2 years for it to fully come back. My guess.
And how about the renters market? You mentioned the fact that 200,000 people left. I mean, a lot of them have come back since that. But rents, if you take a look at Street Easy, some of the other sites that are out there, the average rent is still much lower than it was pre-pandemic. So what do you think we're going to see there?
It is. The only thing that I'm concerned with, and there is, is what a lot of people are still, not paying rent. And I think August that's over. So I worry about what happens to the people that say, well, I still can't pay it. And I don't think they're going to get evicted, I think that there's I think New York State sets some kind of aid for those people. I think you have to wait till then to really see what's happening in rentals, but they're down. But landlords that have good tenants and are smart are working with their tenants that are renewing. Some of my friends tell me they can't even negotiate. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it depends. But I think now, again, prices are the only place in the country I think where prices are not up is here. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is a place nobody can get into. So if you're a New Yorker and you know New York City and you know there's no place like it, and they said this after 9/11, they said nobody will ever live in a high floor. Mm-hmm. No one will ever live downtown. And P.S., high floors get the most money, and look at downtown.
Certainly do. Yeah, it came back, and it came back very strong. So hopefully we will see that again. It certainly looks like that is underway. Dottie Herman, great to speak with you, CEO of Douglas Elliman. Zach, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks.
All right, Sean, I appreciate that. Very important. I learned something, too, as I'm looking at apartments. Not a lot of good deals left out there as New York City roars back.